Peace and blessings, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Asiya. I am your host, Asiya Nasir, and our mission on this show is to educate and empower the women of our communities and the girls that they are raising. This episode is not going to be one that is going to miss our mission because many of the women that I do deal with through our Jessica Cares empowerment program live with something that can sometimes affect their sense of self-worth and their sense of self-esteem, and that is living with a disability. And what we're going to be talking about today on our show with our special guest is not just to live with disability, but how you can thrive and actually overcome what you think was meant to break you. So without further ado, I would love to introduce a very special guest and a dear friend of mine, Datwan Chuck Cullins. Welcome, welcome, Datwan.
Hi, Asiya.
How you
I'm
doing today?
I'm good, and you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much. I first want to thank you before we get into our questions and, just getting into our conversation. I just want to thank you for coming on. I met you pre-COVID, so that
Yes,
was a while ago.
yes,
Met you pre-COVID, and I've just seen you do so many amazing things. And I know you have your personal journey, and that's why I wanted
yes.
you to have, a place on our platform because you actually help create conversations with Asiya. You were a huge part
Mhm.
of making that happen. And so I was like, I have to have you on the show, especially dealing with what we're going to be talking about today, which is, you know, thriving beyond disabilities. So
Right.
I just, you know me, I'm a straight shooter. So we're going to get
Yes.
right into the conversation here. So
Okay.
I want to just let the audience, the viewers know that Chuck and I met through a production school studio called Eminem, and they
Yes.
were teaching us how to use their equipment so that way if you had a talk show or if you had some type of media production that you wanted to do, you first had to learn and go through training in order to be able to use their very expensive equipment, and that is where Daytwan and I met one another,
Yes.
and we've been in contact ever since. So,
Ever since.
Day, yes. So, Daytwan, tell us a little bit about um, your journey, because for the viewers that don't know, this is actually my first time actually asking Daytwan what it is that he has lived with in his journey with, living with disability. So, can you tell, the viewers what it is that you live with and what are the effects that it has had that you've had to, overcome?
Okay. First of all, hey, everybody, Datwan, Chunk. You know, thank you for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure to be, work with you. I have my disability is called dystonia. It's muscular dystrophy. It
Mhm.
affects my muscles, so I have involuntary movements. I'm not able to walk as far as you know as a person without a disability is. I use a wheelchair to aid me, you know, and a couple of minor medications and other mobility aids to help me around. But I never let it stop me, like you said. It doesn't stop my drive. Father, grandfather, newly married. Um,
Wow.
you know,
Okay. So
yeah.
when were you first diagnosed with, and you said
I
it's
was
called Estonia,
No, it's called dystonia with a
dystonia.
D. Yeah, with a D.
When were
Dystonia.
you first, yeah, when were you first diagnosed with it?
I was diagnosed when I was 13. I was,
Wow.
yeah, just one day. I mean, one random day, I woke up and my lower back was hurting, and you know, I kept telling my mother my lower back hurting. My back is hurting. My back is hurting, and I think it went on for like a month or so before we actually went to the hospital. We went to the hospital. They running tests. I mean, for most of the time, they was like they thought I was really faking it. They thought I was faking it, and then that I didn't want to go to school. It was like, oh, he did, they would take me out the room, talk to my mother. Oh, does he have problems in school? Because we're not finding nothing. Because at that time it was really rare. They were telling us it was rare, really rare. And they first diagnosed me with scoliosis. Scoliosis, right? So, they had me in this, like, meet the scoliosis doctor, and he's going to do surgery because they thought I just had a curved spine. So, they prepped me for, I mean, I was getting ready to do surgery. I met with the surgeon and all this stuff. My mother said, you know what? Before we do this, let's go get a second opinion. And we went and got a second opinion, and he was like, that's not scoliosis, you know. Yeah, so you got to be careful out there.
Yeah, that's what
So,
mothers they have that instinct where it's like, you know
yeah,
what, before we do something this final, let's get a
yeah,
second opinion, which is always something that you should do when it comes to medical. Now, with dystonia, does it is it something that's a gradual progression where it gets worse, or do you take medication and it stabilizes it? How does that work?
yeah, because I was really born with it, but it just didn't show us. Like I look at pictures of myself now when I was
Hmm.
younger,
Hmm.
and I see me maybe bent over a little bit, or a little awkward in the picture, but I never caught it before I was
Right.
12, 13. But yeah, and as far as the medication, yeah, the medication does it works, but it leaves me with this high feeling. I never been the
Oh,
type of
okay.
person. I never been the type of person that like to function high. Like I never been like a drug person or
Hmm.
you know uh, experiment with drugs. I'm not that type of person. Never. My friends did it. It was never for me. I don't drink. I don't smoke.
Right.
So I don't like the feeling that it gives me.
Hmm.
So I take the bare minimum
Right.
of medication. I take the very bare minimum. You know.
Wow. Now, what are the symptoms, Datwan? What are the symptoms that, if someone there's a mother that's watching, we got some viewers on here. If there's a mother that's watching and they're saying, hey, my child has been saying I'm having back problems, that doesn't necessarily mean they have dystonia, but what are
Yeah.
some of the symptoms that they may want to look for to say, hey, maybe this is something?
Um, Involuntary movement,
Mhm.
weakened muscles, because it varies. Because I've seen people with the same disability as me, and you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know, like what? You got what? Then I seen some was like, wow, they
Mhm.
really can't move.
Right,
You know,
right.
that's why I stay in the gym. I try to stay active. You know,
That's what I was just about to ask you. What are
I
some of
stay
the
in.
things, like you said, involuntary movement? I noticed that when you do stand, you're kind of like bent over, which people would think,
Yeah,
okay, that's scoliosis because they typically
right,
see when the
right,
spine curves, the person looks like they're bent over, but it's really the spine that is
right.
creating that. Is that like a by part
But
of
it's not, because scoliosis is uh with the spine. I mean, your bone, like your bone, is a muscular disorder.
mm, so it's
So it's
different.
more, you're right. So it's my muscles, they involuntary, they moving. This is why my metabolism is so high. Like I eat a big plate of food. I get people mad about this. They see me eat a lot. They see me eat a lot of food because I like to eat. I'm a foodie, and I don't gain any weight.
Hmm.
It's like my body is constantly moving, so it's
Oh, so
you
it's the
know
involuntary movement that keeps you moving all the time.
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it calms down. I mean, I can calm it down sometimes, but sometimes it takes a life of its own too. So,
Mhm.
but I learned tricks and things, to cope with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, you said you go to the gym. How does the gym
Mhm.
help with, with you coping with living with dystonia?
being that it's like a muscular problem, like my muscles is tight. There's a lot of stretching, a lot of keeping the muscles moving. Not I'm controlling the muscles moving now because I'm working and I'm stretching them out, so they're loosening up. Like my neck. Sometimes I get real tight, so I
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of neck stretches and stuff like that, so that because they'll pull to one side, like one side will just tighten up if I
Mm-hmm.
don't do certain stretches.
Exercises.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. So every morning I try to you know
Do
stretch and
do stretch and work out and things like that.
yeah, things like that.
Now,
Yeah.
now I want to ask you, like with any
Hmm.
disability, and you have pushed through. Has there ever been any time in your life where you wanted to do something, but because of dystonia, it kept you from being able to accomplish
Mm, no, I'm thinking no, because I always find a way.
it? Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Were there doctors that told you that you would never be able to do this or that, and you were like, okay,
Yeah.
and you did it
Hmm.
anyway? Like what? What are some of the things that these doctors told you? Oh, you would never be able to do this. You'll never be able to do that, and you're doing it. What were some of those things?
They told me I can't climb steps. Told me I couldn't do a lot. I went surfing last year. I went surfing, yeah, right before the pandemic when I went surfing. Never been surfing before in my life. Everything I do to the fullest though. So it's like we went surfing. It's a whole bunch of people. We in Far Rockaway, in your turf.
My neck of the woods, right?
Your turf. Yeah, we in Far Rockaway. We surfing. There's a whole it's a whole bunch of people with disabilities. A lot of them can't get out their chairs. There's a lot of volunteers. They putting you on the board, and I never wanted to surf, but we outside, we surfing. Me, my wife, my daughter's there. All my friends is there. We surfing. I said, hey, come on, show me how to stand up on the board. Cause they got me on the board pushing me, and I know how to swim. I swim. I like swimming. Swimming is actually a good exercise for me.
It is. Do you know, Datwan, you're sitting here talking, and I'm like, I've never been surfing. I don't know how to swim. And I don't have this study, and you're doing things that I don't even do. Like, you are putting me to shame.
Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. So, you basically, whatever someone tells you you can't do, you're kind of like, okay, we're going to see
I'm
about that.
like, okay, we'll find out.
Right. That
We'll
is
find out.
amazing.
I
I
mean,
don't know if you.
I'm getting older now, so I gotta
Well,
slow down.
age does its own thing. It doesn't matter what you have. Age does its own thing.
Yeah, I gotta slow down a little bit now, but
Right.
still, I got a 7-year-old daughter. I
Wow.
got grandkids. My oldest grandson is 5. So
So was that something that they told you that you would have a difficult, or let me just ask you on a more
mhm,
personal level. When you saw, what was happening to you and the changes that your body was going through with the involuntary movement and, kind of leaning over and having to use a wheelchair because as you mentioned,
mhm, yeah,
you can't walk as long um,
yes.
as anyone else.
Mm.
Were there ever a time in your life, just in moments, because we all have them, just a time in your life where you felt, Datwan, like maybe I'm never going to get married, maybe I'm never going to have children? Did that ever cross your mind?
No.
I love it. Is that just the New York in you, or
It
is
might
it
be.
just
I
your
don't know.
personality?
No, it's just yeah. It might be my personality. No, I ain't
What
think
made you
that.
feel like that? Where did that come from, Datwan? Where you're just
I
like,
have
no, I see myself getting married and living a full life.
because the people I surround myself around. I didn't even felt like I had a disability.
Hmm.
I did like when it first happened, when it first started showing itself, and I had to be in the hospital because giving me therapy for you know like in-house therapy, and then sent me home with a wheelchair. My friends would still push me around, the same friends. I didn't know nobody with no disabilities, so I, I thought this was normal. Like, okay, now I just got my friend pushing me. I got wheels now. Okay, now my sneakers won't get dirty. I was thinking like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And I was thinking like I don't think that way now. I don't think. Well, my thoughts is different now. I'm gonna tell you how. Because back in the days, like I used to get on the train and stuff like that. I didn't care if it was steps. I would get up, pick up my wheelchair, and bump down the steps, and won't ask nobody for help. If they did help me, okay. If you didn't,
You was just gonna get around anyway.
I was getting around. I was going because this happened. When it happened, I was in junior high school. I remember I was in eighth grade. I was the only person in that school with a disability. So I'm surrounded by all these people. I didn't meet up with people with disabilities until high school. I went to Sheepshead Bay High School in Brooklyn, and that's when I got introduced to people with disabilities. And even back then, they wasn't outside like they is now. You see more people with wheelchairs outside now on the bus and doing things and stuff like that. Yeah,
Wow.
I already had kids and stuff. I had cars. I was driving cars. The doctor was looking at me like, "You drive it? You drove it? Yeah. What you mean? Yeah, I drove it."
So how now I've read books, there's a young man named Nick Wojcik. He's an Australian.
Hmm.
He has no arms and no legs. And there's another gentleman, his name is escaping me, but he's from America. He wrote a
Hmm.
book called No Excuses. And the same thing. He has no arms, no legs, and he does the same thing. They both do the same thing. Nick is married. He has children. You
Yeah.
have the gentleman that I mentioned, he wrote a book. He was actually in pro wrestling. He went to, I mean, doing things like that.
Yeah.
Do you, is it just something that you learn how to do, or do you go to someone to show you how to do it, or do you just kind of figure it out and just, like, look, this is what I got to do. This is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to learn how to drive. I'm going to learn how to do this. How does that come about?
Me, myself, I've always been the figure it out guy. But I know people who've gone to people to learn how to do stuff. That there's nothing wrong with that. If I don't know how to do something, yeah, I'm not afraid to ask somebody. I'm not afraid to. But I've always been the guy who don't like to sit in the problem. I like to
Right.
figure it out. Even if I do have to ask for help. But
Mhm.
I don't like to sit in the problem because you just sitting in the problem is never going to get fixed.
That's right.
If you're
That's
sitting there
right.
feeling sorry about yourself, like what? Nobody gonna help you. You gotta help yourself. Especially now, they got. I mean, people with disability, we have to be some of the most creative people
Hmm.
because there's things we want to do. We have to figure out a way to do it.
That's right. That's right.
We might not do it the same way you do it, but we're gonna get it done.
You're gonna get to the end result the same
We're
though.
gonna get
Right.
right, right. We're gonna get to the same line that you're trying to get to.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
same, yeah. So
Wow.
that's me.
Do you ever face anything and you have fears about it, even though you have in your mind, like, I'm determined, I'm gonna figure out a way? Do you ever have moments because of your disability, or is it just your natural fears that we all have when we're, embarking on something new? Or
Yeah.
does your disability play a part sometimes where you're like, I don't know, I have a little fear, but I'm gonna figure it out?
It's, no, it's the same fear that you have. My
Mm,
disability don't really play a part in my fears because I know it can be done. I know it can be done, and if I learned a lot from my wife because she was born with her disability like, and she was in the community from the jump, like, so she knows everything. Like she tells me things like,
So we
Okay.
are having some technical difficulties
Are
because
we?
my earphones just died on me. So I can hear you, but I
You can hear me?
can't hear you as well as I did just a few moments ago. But keep talking, because I can hear you a
Yeah.
little bit.
Okay. So like my wife would say things like, "We're not gonna shop in this store because they got steps or they won't accommodate us." Because we going in that store to spend money just like everybody else. So all we asking for is a little rent, or to widen the door. Because so now I think about these. This is my challenges now. Because now I think about my friends now. You know, I can get up them steps, but my friend can't.
Right, right.
You know, so why am I patronizing your building? Like I went to I went to the Nike store here in Manhattan. You would think a big corporation like Nike, this Nike store in Manhattan,
Right.
in Manhattan. This is not. I'm not saying in Staten Island. I'm not saying in Nebraska somewhere. I'm saying in Manhattan, in the city. You would think that this Nike store would have some sort of ramp or whatever. No.
Wow.
And that day, I made a TikTok about it because I'm
Mhm.
watching the people go. I got on all Nike now because they had a whole Nike sweatsuit on. This shoes Nike was gonna go in there and spend some money, but I looked at it and I was like, no, I shouldn't have to.
Mhm.
And I watched the people walking in the store, and I'm like, wow,
So I want to
wow.
ask you something, Datwan.
Hmm.
One of the things that I noticed about you, I mean, anybody who sees me knows that I'm a Muslim, but
Hmm.
something that you are, I noticed just even from our first conversation, you do have faith. Does your faith
Yes,
play a role in you being able to overcome all of the things that you've been able to overcome?
I would, yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes. God plays a role in that. It's like He put me here for a reason. He set me down for a reason, and I'll be the example. I'll be the example like that. You can still, you know, you can still achieve things and be in a seated position.
Mhm.
I,
Bear with me 1 second. Bear with me one
mm-hmm.
second, Datwan.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
I
Like,
apologize.
yeah. I'll be the example to all my friends. Hey, God didn't forget about us just because we in a situation. A lot of people will say that. Oh, God, why me? Why me, God, why me?
Mm-hmm.
You know. Actually, I did think about that one time. I thought about like, why the drug dealer didn't get it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, just a thought that just went past. I didn't sit in it. I
Do
didn't have
you
time
do
to sit
you
in it.
do you feel like you know why you were chosen then?
I guess because, like you said, like you just said, the attitude I have is not, it's not the normal attitude that you think that a person with a disability would have. I don't want to be just the person with the disability. You know, I want to
Mm-hmm.
be the person with the disability that did this and did that. You know, I want the
Right.
world to look at people with disabilities different. That's why I took those classes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I took the classes, I was by myself. I was the only person with disability in that class and got to know everybody there. And I've worked with you, I've worked with other people in the class, I've worked
Yep.
with other people in other
Yep.
classes. Still to this day.
So that
you
brings
know.
me to my next question that
Hmm.
I want to ask you, and that's one of the reasons in how we met each other.
Yeah.
When we met each other at MNN, my whole purpose in going to, learn and wanting to learn how to use the equipment and media was because I wanted to start conversations with Asiya.
Right.
And you went in there and we were all, asked, the day that we went, what is your purpose in here? What are you
Yeah.
looking to do? Once you start on your
Hmm.
journey of media and production, what was your purpose? Now, all of you know when I promoted it, I mentioned that you were the CEO of CMF.
Yes.
Oh, someone just wrote here. Thank you, brother, for your message. That's from my girl Seisha. She's
All right.
a day one supporter, and I
All
just,
right.
so she's listening. There are viewers that
I'm
are
glad.
watching and listening to
I'm,
this. So,
I'm glad. I'm glad.
yes,
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
yes. So you mentioned
Yeah.
I've been telling, mention everyone to everyone on you being a guest on today's show is that you are the CEO of CMF Productions. So that was one of the things that you were telling us about. We didn't necessarily know the name yet, but we definitely
Yeah.
knew that you wanted to do something in production, but you had a mission. Can you tell the viewers?
We,
I mean, we've taken your journey from the time you found out at
right.
a young age to growing up, your
Yeah.
determination, your grit, to now we talked about faith and how that's
Right.
played into this. So now moving into CMF Productions, tell the
Right.
viewers what is CMF Productions?
Well, we had a plan from the beginning. I already knew that people with disabilities just needed a place. We needed a platform because we already had a voice, but our voice is so small. We just needed a place where a safe place for us, And I said, hey, Eminem is doing his thing. Hey, I take these classes and we see what we can do. CMF is CMF Productions is me, Cullins, Datwan Cullins, my my other partner. This is Adhiambo Mitchell, M. That's the M, and my other friend Michael Favor. That's the F.
I'm
CMF.
I'm sorry, Daytwan. I'm trying to get my headphones. I wish you was here with me because you're always my tech guy.
I know, right? I know, right?
Hold on one second.
Yeah,
I'm really trying to get because it's hard for me to hear you. It's like I hear bits, but I want to hear everything that you're saying.
right,
So
right,
that
right,
way I'm not asking questions that you've already answered.
right,
Bear
right.
with me one
Okay,
second. Oh
okay.
my goodness. I never have this problem. And now you're one of my favorite guests on this show, and I'm having this problem.
It's fine.
It's like you can hear me and
I
I
hear
can
you.
talk fine, but the hearing part, the feedback is what I'm having an issue with. And so
Oh,
I'm trying
okay.
to get that. Okay. You want to try to say something, Daytwan?
Yeah. You can hear me? You
It's
know, you
still,
hear me?
it's still, yeah. I can't get it to,
No.
but go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, CMF is me, my friend Adi, and my friend Michael Favor. Michael Favor, he's a comedian. He's in a wheelchair. He has cerebral palsy. He's in a wheelchair. Amazing comedian. I mean, won numerous competitions, beat out thousands of people in this competition, and that's that's CMF production. We're coming up with new ideas, and we have a podcast we're working on, and we actually won an award for our podcast.
I
You
love
know,
it.
we actually we won an award for our podcast. We looking to win them all, like you know,
I
win them
love
all.
it.
Yeah, we here to win them all. But yeah, it's just
So
it's
your partner, your
mm-hmm.
partner who you work with, Adi, he's not here
Adi.
with us. So for the viewers that are watching, Adi is Daytwan's partner in this, who is also living with major disability. And you would
Yeah,
think, uh-huh, that's the name of your exactly. She said, wow, that's the name of your podcast. Absolutely. So Adi, please, everyone, say a prayer for him. He's in the hospital. He was due to
yeah,
be on the show today, And unfortunately, he's not with us to be able to be here. He said he'll make it up to us another time,
Hey,
but
make it
he's
up.
not in there. Datwan, if you could just share, because I really want the viewers to hear, you know, what you two do. I mean, watching
What we
you,
do.
I can tell anyone. My girls got to meet you,
Hmm.
from Jessica Cares, as well as Adi.
Hmm.
But I
What
don't think people really understand when you're talking about Adi. I mean, without going into too much detail, can you share what Adi lives with as it
Adi,
relates to disability and what could be something that
Adi,
would have
Adi,
caused him not to be able to live to his full potential?
Adi, Adi was in a car accident. He's double amputee, both his legs,
Hmm.
but his mind is still there. And as long as we still got our mind, we figure it out. What we do together is we love to film. We love to film things, and we love to come up with new ideas, and we love to give people with little voices a platform where they can share their stories. Same thing you're doing. You know, you have guests come on and you let them, you encourage others. So that's basically what we do. And if there's anybody out there that ever needs us, we're there.
Hmm.
When you call, I'm there. Every time you call, uh, I gotta drop everything I'm doing. I come see you. You see, we came all the way to Jersey, all the way to Jersey. Met the girls. Oh, what you doing is wonderful too.
Hmm.
You're doing a wonderful thing. And we want to get to that point too, where we have a facility where we can teach what we learned, because um, like the stuff that we learned in the classes, us, me and you,
Hmm.
they offer the stuff now, but the prices is way higher now. The prices are way higher now. So we want to build a facility too where people could come and we can teach others how to edit, how to film, or you know, how to do stuff with a disability. That's just basically us. Did we lose you? We lost you?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Wait, you low now.
I can hear you now.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we did. Yeah, definitely that's what we want to do. We just want to give people with disabilities voices.
Hmm. And you've been doing that, Datwan. You've been doing that. Like when I first met you, it was just you, really.
Yeah,
You had a couple of people that you was working with. However, they didn't necessarily have disabilities. Now I see like you are working your
but
productions, your shows.
it was the plan. I
Hmm.
had to. How somebody got to go be the legs. I got to be the legs. While the other person is being the head over here, that's like me and you. I know to sit you in front of the camera, and I'll sit behind the camera. We're gonna get a good show.
Right. And I
So
mean, we met a lot of people through our M&M
mhm.
class. We met a lot of people that were doing different things, some great things, just getting started. And it was just, we clicked. We really did click.
Yeah,
And we was like, we're going to stay in touch. And, for the viewers that are watching, when I first started conversations with Asia, if it wasn't for this man right here, there would have been no conversations with Asia. You did all the legwork, the editing. We worked together, and I mean, you
yeah.
really showed me a lot of things and was like, Asia, you need to do this. And so, even though we went to class together, I'm not a tech person. Everybody knows that. And it was like, I need, like you said, you need to have people around you. But it was like, you were such an, and has always been an inspiration to me.
But see, that's the
Watching.
reason. That's the reason why you took the class. Even though you're not the tech person, we was meant to meet.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know,
And we still work together through all these years.
still,
We still work
still.
together. So what is your vision for CMF Productions? Like, if you could say what you want to do, and being the voice, like you said, you want to give people with disabilities a voice and a platform to
Yeah.
be able to showcase their talents and things like that. what's your vision? Like, what do you see in 5 years or 10 years for CMF?
I can see us having some sort of warehouse where it's like, we have people with disabilities over here learning how to edit. People with disabilities over here say they models. Because I have friends that's models. You can teach people how to walk down the road or how to roll down the runway. You
Wow.
know, that's what I see in the future. It's just bigger. Even if I don't be there, I'm Martin Luther King right now. Even if I'm not there, I don't make it. I just want people to know, I'm laying down some bricks down here. I'm laying down the road. That's what that's our goal.
What's your goal? So, what would you say, Datwan, to someone who may have just been diagnosed with a disability, or a parent who has a child who's living with disability? What would you say to them? Because you said something so profound. You said, I didn't, you said, I didn't live my life like a person with
Hmm.
disability. It just was not, that wasn't how your mindset was. What would you say
Yeah,
first and foremost to someone who is living with disability and they're really struggling? And what would you say to a parent who just found out that their child is now living with a disability?
your life is not over. It's just begun. I mean, if you think about it, the disability community is the only community that anybody could be a part of at any time. People get older and they get in a wheelchair. You could be walking across the street. Accident happen. Your life is not over. You know.
What would you say to a parent? Because sometimes with parents, we want to coddle and be
Yes,
present for our kids. Um,
I see it a lot.
was your How did your mom deal with it with you?
She let me live. She let me live. I mean, of course, she still got my back to this day. 40, I'm gonna be 45 next month. Still got my back, but she let me live. You know,
So what
and
would you
she
say?
always had my back.
Yeah.
Instead of like holding me back, she's pushing me. Like, go ahead and do it. Okay, I see what you're doing. You know,
So
gotta have you have people in your corner. Like my wife is my number one supporter.
oh, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, yes.
She's gonna be she's the wind behind me. That's pushing me. Cause I get tired sometimes too. But you better go ahead and do that.
Hmm.
All right, let me get up.
That's right. That's right. And
Even
you said
you,
it's
but
right.
even you never treated me like, oh, it's guy with in the wheelchair. No,
Nope. I'm like,
he was
this
like,
my
you need to get
champion.
up.
This is my man right here.
Right, you need to put your name on this. You need to do this. You need to do that. You never held your tongue with me. You told me what to do. I listened to you, and I
You
got a
tell me
plaque.
what to do, and I listen to you. And I'm like, all right, we're not gonna do that. We got to cut that part out, or we got to tweak that.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely, absolutely.
Right.
Have you ever had someone treat you like, wanting to coddle you or make you feel some type of way? And how did you deal with that?
I just told him like, look, no, we ain't doing that.
I know that's right.
You know, because I'm the nicest person ever. Even if somebody's getting me upset, I could nicely dismiss you.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know, so
So for people who are looking to, that they have businesses and they have, when we're talking about diversity and inclusion now, that's like a big,
yes,
those are buzzwords, those are keywords now.
yes,
So, I know you say you work with, a lot of those that are in the, community of living with a disability in some shape
Yeah.
or form. But for businesses, whether for profit or nonprofit organizations, if they're looking to support, and have people on your team for that, do you work with for-profit businesses and nonprofit organizations? And what would you say to them as it relates to including someone who has a disability on their team?
I would say it's a benefit. It really is because if you see the drive of this person who can't, I can't keep up with you in the foot race, but put a computer in front of me. Let's see if you keep up with me. You know what I'm saying? Or
That's right. That's right.
so I'm not here to compete with anybody. You know, there's enough work out there for everybody. But I'm here to inspire.
And
You
you
know,
do, Datwan.
I'm here to
I
inspire.
know, but you do. So for all you businesses out there, if you're looking for somebody, and I know for a fact, especially as it relates to nonprofit, we're storytellers. I can't
Yeah,
say this enough. For-profit businesses, they got their commercials, they're putting out their products, and that's how they market. For nonprofits, it's telling our story. And if you don't have someone who can help you tell that story, it's going to be difficult for you to be able to do that. So for those that are like, look, I'm struggling with marketing in my business. I'm struggling with
mhm.
being able to, social media and the different things that are out there because everything is video now, really.
It
You
is.
know, how can someone get a hold of you, Daytwan, and be like, look, I need someone to help be part of my marketing team or start my marketing team?
Um, on social media, you can DM me. Or you can go to our website is not up right now,
Hmm.
but yeah, just
So
on Instagram.
what's your social media handles? I know what
Uh,
they are, but for someone looking
yeah.
to find you that's watching the show right now, and they're like, I need a Daytwan in my life, right? How would I need CMF in my life? How would they find? So there, before you answer that question, someone asked, "What's the name of your podcast?" Can you repeat the name of your podcast?
Yeah, it's called the Juggernaut Show.
Juggernaut Show. Can you spell that just in case someone wants to, look it
Yeah,
up?
I can actually show you. No, I can't show you. Yeah, it's Juggernaut. JUGGERNUAT
Okay.
show. SHO.
All right. So for someone who wants to have someone like you, on your team, and this is something that's huge now, even for grant purposes, for
Yeah,
nonprofit organizations, they ask if your organization is, supports diversity and inclusion. This
yeah,
is one of those ticks that you can say yes, because I actually have someone on my marketing team
yeah.
that actually, fits in that community. So if they want to get a hold of you, what is your what social media pages are you on, and what is your username handle so they can find you?
On Facebook, it's Datwan Chunk Cullins.
Hmm. So Datwan
SDATWN.
is spelled D as in David, A as in Apple, T as in Tom, W as in water, A as in
Eh,
Apple, N as in Nancy, Cullins. That's C as in
Me,
cat, ULLIN,
I
as in
L.
Nancy, S.
Yes. And on Instagram, this is Chunk, the number two, Instagram. And
All right.
you can easily find me on Instagram.
And if you can't find his page, go to Jessica Care's page
Go to
because
Jessica
anything
Care.
that he does, I always give my man credit for
She
him,
does.
producing my videos and editing our videos. I give him much credit. So it definitely has his user handle on there. Uh, Daytwan, every time we do a show, I always end it with
Okay.
my viewers, with my guests being
Hmm.
able to leave a final thought. And again, with
Okay.
the mission in mind. Yeah, oh, she said, look at that. Daytwan, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Yes, we are
Thank
all
you.
proud of
Thank
you,
you.
Daytwan. You're all proud of. Before we end with that, for children, and this I just thought about this just now.
Hmm.
Um, for children, you have adult children, you have
Hmm.
grandchildren,
Oh yeah.
and you have a 7-year-old daughter.
Yes.
Have they ever come to you and share with you how you've impacted them because of watching?
Yeah.
What have they said? If you don't mind sharing.
My my boys, my boys never really. They get more angry if somebody treat me like I'm a person with a disability. But my daughter, she's gonna. I'm telling you, she's gonna be something in this community because both her parents have disabilities.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
me and my wife had disabilities, so we. But she is very. She know the proper terminology. She don't use uh. She don't use like handicap. She's a person with a disability. She knows all of the stuff. She teaches like her friends in school. You know, like they'll see me and she's like, "God, my father's cool. Go over there and talk to my father."
Aw.
And they come over, I'm like, "Hey, what's up, man?" You know, yeah, I talk the same language they talk. You know, so my daughter's awesome, man. She's she blows me away every day. She surprises me every day.
It's like you have two spectrums. You have your protectors, which are your boys, and then you have your daughter, who is the educator. And like, look, and my father is an inspirator. He's a
Yeah,
motivator. You need to go talk to him, and your sons are like, don't even try it.
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
That's them.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful, and
Yeah,
that's a testament, obviously, Dayton, to
yeah.
what you
It,
poured into your children through your actions.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the message. Okay, this is a message I want to put it out there. It's just give people with disabilities a chance. You know, don't just look at them just for what you see physical. You see the physical because our minds are sharp too. You know, talk to us. We can talk regular. I talk just like you. You
I know that for a fact. Like
know,
that's how we've always been that way. So I do
we
know,
had,
and it's true. And I'm glad that you put that out there. That a lot of times when we see people who are living with a disability, we automatically start thinking limitations.
hmm.
Whereas once we start talking to someone like you, Daytwan, it's like in your mind there are no limitations. It's like
Yes,
it's what I set for myself, and your faith is what
right.
it is. That you're just like, look, don't put that on me because I don't think that way. So I think that is so beautiful that we need to really start moving in this world and understanding that people who live with disability, you've learned how to live with
Yeah,
it and thrive, literally, not just live with it, but thrive and overcome and accomplish
right.
goals and things like that. So what is a personal goal that you have for yourself, Daytwan, that you would say like this is on my bucket list, and no matter what people have said before that it can't be done from someone who's living with a disability,
Well,
Datwan Chuck Cullins says he's gonna do it. What is that?
um, to do, I want to do a movie.
Hmm.
Like we have scripts written out. We have TV shows written out. It's the funding. That's all we need.
The funding. So all right now, y'all heard it. Y'all heard it right here. My YouTube viewers, LinkedIn viewers, just Facebook viewers. If you are watching and you're someone who can fund someone, and you're looking for a project, here it is right here. We have your next, Singleton, your next, Spike Lee sitting right here. That's ready and above that because you're living with something that they don't. So your drive is
Yeah,
even harder than theirs.
yeah,
So if you're looking to fund someone and you want to do something philanthropic, or you want to be able to just showcase something that we typically don't see, come
yes,
and fund my brother over here. He is doing some
yes,
amazing, amazing things in the community. I work with him personally. I'm telling you, we wouldn't have the things that we do, the videos that we produce, and what we're about to do because we're working on a big project
oh,
right now. So we're not going to go
oh,
into it. But I'm
Oh, that's
definitely, yes, that's
next
gonna
level.
be epic. It's gonna be epic. So I'm just,
Yes,
I work with you, Daytwan, and like I said, for all of the viewers that are watching, you inspire me so much.
I
And
love you to death.
you know what I'm saying? Like we here, and I support anything that you do. For those that are watching that have been inspired by this, please share this video so that way someone who may have just been recently diagnosed with something, and as Daytwan just said, it's not the end of the world.
It's not.
Let them hear it from someone who's living. It's easy for us to say that because they feel like we don't understand, but this is coming from someone who has been diagnosed at a young age and overcame everything that they told him he couldn't do. Share this video. Sharing is caring. So
Yes.
I'm gonna let you end it, Daytwan, with a final thought or something that you want to say.
And if there's anybody out there that's listening and they have a disability and they don't have that person in their life that that they can talk to, talk to me, DM me. I, I
Right.
I answer back. I talk.
That is
You know.
amazing. That is amazing. So here we are, humanitarian, on top of all of his other, many accomplishments. But I'm saying the truth. I'm saying
Yeah.
the truth is what it is, and I think we really don't pay attention. So that this show is really to again educate and empower.
Yeah.
That is what this show is all about. And sometimes we have to empower by stepping outside of what our own comfort zones are and being
Yeah.
around people that look different and have disabilities and things like that. And we have our viewer. She just said, "I tell my son who has autism that he is his superpower." Wow,
Yes.
wow, amazing, absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. I'm definitely gonna share this video with my oldest son because one of the things that holds him back is his fear of people rejecting him because he also lives with autism.
Yes. My nephew got autism. One of the smartest kids I know.
Same
My
here.
niece and my other niece and my other nephew has autism, and I want them to see me. I want them to see my wife doing things.
Absolutely.
You know.
Thank you so much for that. So
Thank
that's
you.
it for our show today.
Thank you.
I'm just lost. I'm just like I could listen to Daytwan and just continue to watch him. I mean, I've seen him in action. I see what he does. When I tell you he works, he's one of the hardest working people that I know. I've seen him. He's a man of his word. He works with integrity. And I mean, he's everything that you're seeing here on the show today. Everything that he says is exactly what he has done. And I've seen this firsthand from working with him, and that's one of the best ways to get to know someone is when you go into business with someone. You see what their
Yeah.
character is. And Daytwan, you are truly an inspiration. You're truly a hard worker. You truly work like there are no disabilities, there are no limitations, and that's why I've never looked at you that way, and I continue and will continue to work with you. So,
Never.
for those of you that are watching the show, whether on LinkedIn, YouTube, or first I want to appreciate thank you for the technical difficulties that we was having. That's because Daytwan wasn't with me, right? So I thank you all for your patience in that. But I also want to thank you, Daytwan, for coming on and sharing your story. This is the first time
Thank you
that
for
I've
having
ever,
me.
yes, and this is the first time that I've learned about what you have, which is dystonia, and I think it's something that you have truly shown that you can overcome. And that's what our talk show is all about, which is educating. And we were educated tonight, and we were
Mm.
empowered and inspired. And so I thank you, viewers, for tuning in each and every time we do an episode of Conversations with Asiya. Stay tuned. In 2 weeks, we have another episode that is going to be just as empowering at the end of the month because we are going into 2024. So we definitely want to end strong. So I want to thank you once again, Daytwan. Keep doing what you're
Thank
doing.
you.
Reach out to this brother either to fund a project that he's doing or have him come onto your team and be able to work with your marketing team or create your marketing team and the vision that you have for your company. So thank you everyone for tuning in on this show. See you in a couple of weeks and have a great night. And make sure that you are being impactful and pouring into someone and investing in someone because it's going to come back to you tenfold. Well, good night, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Conversations with Us.
Bye, everyone.